Well, like normal, I forgot to film, but what I did was I didn't like the squareness of this anyway, so what I did was I cut out that whole blown section, which is right over here now. So you can see, instead of trying to weld all this back, and even that back there cracked, this is all still good. It was just this, and you can see how much pressure was behind there. So what it is my blow-off valve doesn't have a big enough port going to it, so we're going to fix that next. I'll show you. But so like I said, originally it was like this, and then now we've cut that off. And if you look, this is the hot side, so it's going to ram in here, and then it's going to close down on it the way it's meant to, which will force it over here. What I think was happening anyway was it was coming in and then kind of shooting right across, and this little area was kind of just swirling and having a high boost issue. Because if you come over here, it's kind of bubbled, but not like this. And that's obviously way more than 18 PSI. There's no way 18 PSI would do that, even on my crappy welds. So, anyway, I'm rambling. We're gonna take this and we're gonna mark it around here, and then clean all this up and weld it. So that's the little template I made to go up here. And then we translated it to this aluminum piece. And I cut that out, which is right here. That bandsaw didn't work. So I used that bandsaw for a little bit of it. And then I had to use the cutoff wheel for the rest. But as you can see, it's a little too big, which that's what we want. So now I'm gonna mark everywhere that needs to be trimmed and start sanding it down. Okay, you guys know the drill. I started doing things before I filmed it, but this is the blow-off valve, and I think this is the primary culprit. That's as big as a hole as we have going to it, and that's what we have going to it now. So that should make us a big difference. That being said, it looks like the port is just a little bigger than this hole, but still, this is restricting us quite a bit, having just that small of a hole, and now we'll have that big of a hole. So I've got to shape this to fit, and I'm hopefully going to keep it that small. That way it's still tucked up here instead of being way out here, but we'll see. Okay, after some grinding, cutting, drilling, and then touch-up work with the little mill bit, we have everything ready. So we have, this is the X-Trail blow-off valve, but it's the exact same thing as the R35 GTR blow-off valve, except its idle or spring is a little looser than the GTR's. But as you can see, this is way bigger than what it was. And so if we put it there, it lines up pretty much exact. I did it by hand, and I actually tapered the edge. Again, it's just by hand, so it's not perfect. But we have that, and then it's going to this, and that's why it's tapered, because it's a bigger diameter. There's no point in me drilling this out more. We just match the ID, technically the OD of that bevel. But we have that, and then to this, I'll weld this onto here, and then we'll cut it off and shape it on the belt sander to match this groove. And then we already opened up the blow-off valve area on the intake pipe. And this is probably 3 times as big of a hole as what it had. So this should let out a lot more pressure. And again, if we go back to the intercooler, because of the design now of the ram air style, so again, hot air is coming in here and it's coming this way, and because this is tapered, it's forcing it into the intercooler, where before it could sit here and pressurize before it went this way. And I think that's why it blew out, because it's only 18 psi, so there's no way it could have broke those welds. 18 pounds per square inch does not do that. Especially, I've been running it for years and years. So I think it just pressurized that little area of the tank, over pressurized it, and that's what happens. Because my boost controller port is on the compressor housing on the outlet of it. So it could definitely build pressure there and not know it. But it's getting pretty cold, so I'm going to call it a day, and we'll just have a bunch of welding to do. So I've already welded that, and we're about to tack the plate onto here. She'll be like that. I'm not gonna GoPro any of it because honestly it's still dirty and it's not gonna be fun welding it, but I've got it all tacked. I need to tack this again because I ground it off, but we're gonna weld that. It actually turned out better than I thought it would. I went back with the wire wheel right after I filmed it, and we cleaned it up a little bit. So those welds turned out pretty good. It's a little warm. The front side turned out not as good as the back, but it still turned out pretty good. I mean, first welds, now the welds I have now. So yeah, turned out pretty good. And we got that, so now we just have to shape that. Hopefully it's cooled off now. So we're gonna cut it like right here, and then put it on the belt sander and shape it to fit this pipe. Just like that, it's cut. Move over here. Got it shaped and prepped. A little gap, but you know, you do what you can. I also planed this, so now it is flat on the ceiling surface. You can see not much gap all the way around. So we gotta weld this and bolt the blow-off valve back on, put the intercooler back on, and yeah, go test drive it. So there's the intercooler repair. And then this is the blow-off valve. And you can see just in picture or in video how much bigger this pipe is. And again, the blow-off valve itself isn't that big, but this helps quite a bit. So that's the weld. We get a little better. But we're I got this Prelude in my garage right now. My car's next door. So I gotta decide if I want to open up that bay and install this real fast. I gotta let it cool first off. But yeah, I like it.
She's running once again. So the only thing I see problem is it's showing we're all the way lean. So I don't know what that's about. But besides that, it's running good.
We're about to go test drive it right now. I was going to hook the GoPro up and film it, but my SD card is at home and it's almost dead. So yeah, sorry.